I know why you're here. You want to figure out if Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is a masher or is it a skill based game. Let's dive right in. So first off, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is absolutely a skill-based game disguised as a masher. When most people hear masher, they assume it's random, that anyone can win, especially less skilled players, but Sparking Zero is anti-mash. It's got a ton of intricate counter systems that make it almost impossible to win by just spamming buttons. Counters, for example, you can guard high, mid, or low, and each of these has its own layers of strategy. You also don't want to sleep on the step mechanic where you basically sidestep or move out the way before they can do like a charge attack or something, and you can use this while you're attacking too. So when people think this is a mash fest, they're really missing how defense in this game is about skill and precision. And so there's also stalemates and clashes to force neutral play. So now the cool thing about Spark Zero is just isn't defense. We got the clashes where both players attack at the same time and creates these stalemates or mini games, and it's still all about timing and skills, not guessing. For example, there's a rush clash where both opponents rush and neither take damage. Then you got clashes for different moves like the speed impact, the power impact, the crash impact, and the blast impact. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not actually called clashes in this game, but I'm using that as a way to categorize the interaction for I guess traditional fighting game players, because we know what clashes are in terms of, all right, if you both do a projectile at the same time, it'll clash and like disperse or trade, or that's another way. But the trade doesn't give damage to either opponent. It's like, all right, it's a forced stalemate. This is not a random coin flip. It's about like reacting and outplaying the opponent in that situation. And on offense, there's, as I spoke about earlier, the rush attack, which is basically the square, square, square. This leads into most of your mind games on offense up close. But you also gotta know about the smash attacks, which are charge moves that can break your guard and causing your opponent to open up so you can do more damage to them. But here's the twist: if you perfectly you perfectly time the charge, you get a perfect smash, which you will rush into your opponent at like the smash attack, but you will teleport behind them, and this forces them to need to turn around or use like a higher level defense mechanic to avoid getting hit, or they just end up taking all this damage. And then you got the rush chains, which instead of the square, 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 you like square triangle or square, square, square triangle, etc., and so on. But these will launch your opponent and set up bigger opportunities for you to use a dragon rush or a vanish to uh, follow up your damage and pretty much tax on the damage, build meter, stop them from getting what they got to do. And even in your rush combos, you can hold the triangle button to turn an attack into a guard break. And you basically can use all these different timings to keep them on edge. So you might just be attacking with the fast attacks, or you might be mixing in with the charge attacks. And also the charge attacks have like a hit of armor on them too. So you can't just come in and just start swinging on someone with the rush attack while they're doing the charge attack. So it's different mind games there. And then also the charge attack, you can see them charging and use a Z counter. You use perception. You can move out the way with the step. It's so many different things you can do. And let's not forget, the throw system and the key system. Like with throws, for people who are guard heavy players, you can mess with them and grab them to catch them, like overusing perception or overusing block. And throws also have a clash in this game, a grab clash, where both opponents attempt to grab each other, but then just like they are holding on to each other, and you have to like press a button at the certain timing to win that. So it's not like, all right, well, I got to guess high, low, or mid or whatever like that. And then that's the thing, you can see what a lot of these attacks are doing before they come to you. So it's a lot of timing changes. Now also with the key is another big element, because key blast can be reflected if you're powering up, though they'll stop you because I mean that's just how they have it designed. So the strategy in this game, you don't want to let your opponent power up like in the show. Meter management in this game is everything. This game really forces you to be smart with your resources because you need your meter, your key for offense, defense, and movement. And do I think this can be competitive? Yes. Like first and foremost, there have already been Tenkaichi tournaments on the previous versions of the game. So who are we to tell them, you know, oh, don't play this game because I don't feel like it's X, Y, and Z. So like there's a real hypocrisy in the fighting community. Like someone's always, complain about mashers or whatever, but then they praise games with just a few simple interactions that also reward that stuff, and they don't give you options to deal with it other than just guess right. That's just really what it is. Like you are overwhelming somebody, there's nothing you can do to stop them from doing a rage art or a super move. You have to literally just stop interacting at all and just block. But yeah, you could probably like parry or something like that. But for the most part, the move is so devastating, you have to just choose, all right, I'm gonna just only use this one option versus this. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, like I told y'all, gives you all these different counters to deal with it. It's not just one specific counter. It's like, all right, was this, that, and that. So this how I feel, man. Like the depth here, just off the game mechanics alone, it rivals the traditional fighters, even though it's an arena game. So if you're grinding, studying matchups, and working on your time, you're going to outplay lesser skilled players. Period. That's just what it is. And to compare to other games, like let me just say, I get where some of the hesitation comes from. A lot of the modern fighting games, they push a super aggressive make it take it style where one person just gets to run their offense over and over. In Sparking Zero, it's different. You have real neutral, real stalemate situations, and you're not locked out of the game for 4 turns just because someone made you block once. And that's what the current modern fighting games are like right now. It didn't used to be like that. There used to be a lot more force neutral. You'll block a normal pushes you across the screen, and you can still like retaliate or something at least. But there is still like situations where you can get outzoned. But it in this game, you try to get zoned. There's options around all of it. You're getting key blasts from across the screen. They can dragon rush in. They can Z counter in. They can shoot a beam. They can also shoot their own key blast. Like it's a bunch of different stuff. So then let me talk about the netcode. So the netcode is amazing. I know people are talking about the delay base and stuff, but I've been playing with friends across long distances, like no lag, no interruptions, just smooth matches. It's actually wild for an arena fighter to have this level of precision and a netcode like this. Like I'm going to say is rollback quality in the sense that I haven't felt anything dumb yet. Now also keep in mind this is early access. Everybody doesn't have the game yet, and everyone can't play, so we don't know how stressed the netcode is going to be yet with the servers and stuff. But for right now, today, how I feel, it's elite. And we're supposed to be getting crossplay later. I keep hearing that. I haven't heard that officially from Bandai's mouth, but I've heard that from other people. So I don't want to be putting anything in their mouth and be like, yeah, y'all, Bandai said this. I haven't gotten any official word, but I've heard that we're supposed to be getting it later. And that's going to take it up a notch too. And with how it is right now, man, like, look, probably just have to bite the bullet, get on 2 systems or something until then. But I'll just be playing on PC for now because I'm really enjoying how the game looks and how it feels with all the graphics and stuff. And also, I'm talking about the DP system because, people are always talking about characters being broken. Well, how am I going to fight Whis or deal with Beerus and as Mr. Satan? Well, the DP system helps regulate the team power. So you don't have busted teams like Whis, Beerus, and the Fusions all on one team. It also adds another layer of strategy. So you're not just spamming the best characters, but actually have to think about your team composition. And on top of that, gives people who spectate a bigger palette of variety of characters that they get to see on the screen, because people have to be very strategic with how they pick stuff. But also I want to touch on when I was a DOA player, people always tried to crap on the game and say it wasn't a competitive game because of, guess what? Outside of the titty stuff and the sex stuff, it was about, oh, we don't like being countered. I don't like the non-guaranteed damage and blah blah blah. Now, the most evolved version of the what they say that they don't like is games where you get hit once and then it's constant set play, which is really what all these modern games are today, where you get it touched and then it's just, as I said earlier, you have to wait 4 turns before you get to play again, and hopefully you're still alive at the end of those turns. I see like a game like DOA where you get hit, you can counter, and in Killer Instinct you can get hit, you can counter, you can force a neutral to be there to where the opponent can't just like win one exchange and it's over. They have to win multiple exchanges, and you have counterplay to deal with their counterplay. That's what I see coming to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So don't let somebody tell you what you should and shouldn't play based on whatever, because at the end of the day, all these games kind of have some dumb stuff in them that you may not want to tolerate, but it's okay for the next person, and vice versa. So play what you want to play. If y'all want to play Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, play that shit. If you want to try hard and shit and ranked, do that shit. If you want to host tournaments, do that. If you want to host tournaments where it has specific rules and you want to create your own niche tournament type bracket, do that shit. Do whatever you want with the game when you get it. And if you can find like-minded people that want to do that too, that's the best thing. And that's how all these tournaments even began. Fighting game tournaments began like, all right, I think I'm nice, and I think I'm nicer than everybody else that thinks they're nice. Let me host a tournament to prove that. That's where it came from. It didn't come from some grand permission slip from the developers to play their game. No, the consumers, the community, the players decided, hey, we want to do this. So if I host a tournament and other Sparking players want to play, that's just what it is. And same thing for everybody else. Just respect that. The game is godlike. So you want to play it or not, you know what it is. But yeah, Dragon Ball Zero is not some scrubby masher, and it's not just a masher. It's a game with layers of skill, timing, and strategy. If you're serious about the game, there's a lot to master, and yes, it can be absolutely competitive. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. When I start streaming to TikTok, man, I've been streaming TikTok. I stream everywhere. Damn.